I think we can all agree that the fruit quality in the winter time isn't always the very best. So it can sometimes be challenging to make those healthy food choices, eat those fruits and vegetables, and experience that top-notch level of health that we know from the summer when it's so easy to fruit up and be outside a lot and move a lot. So in today's video, I wanted to share my top 10 tips that help me to still stay fruited up in the winter time. And also at the end of the video, I'm going to take you along on my pre-Christmas shopping trip. So I'm going to show you everything I buy because the supermarkets are going to be closed for the next couple of days. So yeah, so now let's get into it. The first tip is to drink water. I know this might sound so obvious, because when we drink more water, we feel better, we're more hydrated. And what I have also found is that when I drink more water and when I'm well hydrated, my craving for high water content, nourishing, vibrant, healthy foods also is a lot higher. I don't know exactly where the correlation is, but my guess is that when we're hydrated, then our body wants to maintain that level of hydration, thus craving more things that are high in water, like fruits and vegetables, and all other things that are high in water, like even potatoes and sweet potatoes and all that kind of stuff is also high in water. And then the second tip is, and also why I mentioned this here right in the beginning is because it is so easy to just not drink water in the winter. Because in the summer, when we're sweating a lot and it's warm and we're moving, then we have that thirst and we want to drink more water. And yes, our requirement for water in the summer is higher due to more, sweating and stuff like that. But it is still not the case that, we just don't need to drink water in the winter. I know this is so obvious, but I still wanted to mention it. And the second tip I want to mention before getting into some practical tips is to remember your why. And you might have heard me talk about this before, but it is just so important to remember why you want to eat healthy. If you just eat healthy out of blind principle because someone else is doing it, because someone else maybe told you this is the best way and you need to do it, then your intrinsic motivation isn't really going to be that strong. So for me, when I connect with why I eat the way that I eat and why I want to nourish my body with healthy foods, then it's a no-brainer for me to do it. And my focus is laser sharp on the healthy foods, and all the unnecessary stuff that doesn't fit into that vision that I have for myself is in my periphery. I don't really see it. I don't really focus on it. So this is a very, very important hack. And if we apply that one, then all the other ones will automatically and effortlessly happen. But I will still mention them. So the third one is to source out super high quality fruits and veggies. And as I mentioned in the introduction of this video, it is a bit more challenging in the winter time. Like some of my favorite fruits, like watermelon, even honeydew melon, aren't really abundantly available or in high quality available, but sometimes I still manage to find good melons, but I no longer rely on these things because they're obviously not in season. So I've made it my mission to source out fruits that are in season in extra high quality, which you only need to set up once. You only need to find out once which brand and where are some really, really good oranges, for example. So I found that the organic oranges from Aldi, not sponsored, are so freaking good right now. So I just go every time when I go to Aldi and buy the organic oranges there, and don't buy them anywhere else because those are the best ones and they usually come from the same supplier for the entire season. So you can do that with this type of fruits that are in season right now. And yeah, because if we buy fruits that are not in season, then the likelihood of them just not really being good, like watermelon, for example, is just very, very high. So that's something really important to keep in mind. And then also I rely a lot on frozen berries, which are still a powerhouse, a nutritional powerhouse with antioxidants, nutrients. I love my frozen blueberries or raspberries in combination with bananas, which is also something you can get year round. So yeah, those are some things I have almost on a daily basis. And then of course also apples. I'll link the video on the hidden power of apples and my favorite varieties and all that kind of good stuff. I have a video on that topic in a link in the description box. And this season I've really fallen in love with apples. I eat up to 6 apples a day sometimes. Sometimes just one, but yeah, they're really, really easy to find. They last long, like you don't have to make sure that they ripen or that they go overripe, really. Same with oranges. When you put them in the fridge, they're very easy to store. You don't need for them to wait to ripen. And that also brings me to the 4th tip, and that is being prepared, because when it comes to bananas, at least what I have found is they take a lot longer to ripen in the winter time than in the summer. I still have my kitchen pretty warm, and it's not that different in terms of humidity. I really don't know why it is, but they do take longer to ripen, so being prepared on that. And also having some backups like the apples, the oranges, dates even. And also something important to keep in mind is that fruits like apples and oranges are very low in fat and protein. So when 2 or 3 years ago, I was pretty like strict with my fat intake. I would pretty much eat no overt fats at all. And also no protein really. Like, I mean, we know that fruits and vegetables all have protein abundantly, but I was pretty strict with that. And now that I'm no longer that strict with it, like I am incorporating things like hemp seeds and even tofu into my diet, not because I feel like, at least with the tofu, I don't feel like I need the tofu or anything. I just really enjoy it right now. And yeah, now that I've started incorporating those foods, my craving for fruits and vegetables that are also lower in fat and protein is a lot higher. So back then, when I wouldn't have ripe bananas on hand, it would always be a little bit of a bummer, because I didn't really crave apples and oranges that much, which I think is really interesting. But now that I've incorporated things like seeds and stuff like that, I do have a lot higher craving for apples and oranges. And yeah, this season I'm really enjoying those. And then the 5th one is to also treat yourself. So I ordered some Jurassic fruit things. If you're from Germany or Europe, you can order with the code abundance 10% off with the link in the description. And I ordered some coconuts, I ordered some cherimoya, I ordered some dried bananas. And yeah, just treating yourself. And those coconuts, I have 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 every morning, and it's just so nice to treat yourself. And then also cherimoyas are really, really great winter fruit. And yeah, then also some other areas of health. So as we all know, nutrition is just one single pillar of health. There is so much more that we can take care of. And I always feel that when we only strengthen one of those areas, then we're still not really experiencing that good of health. So if you just focus on nutrition, especially now that I feel like the environment isn't as supportive in the winter time, it's cold, which can wreak havoc on the nervous system, because you sometimes feel like in fight or flight mode when it is that cold. You have a natural tendency to maybe not go out as much. There's not as much sunlight, which also affects all of our hormone productions and everything. So being aware of that and kind of counterbalancing that with some small habits, that I'm just going to mention. And all of these are suggestions. This is also a video that I'm doing to myself. I'm not applying everything of that. And I think it's always just important to do what's available to us. Like pick the lowest hanging fruit, the one that almost falls off when you just slightly touch the tree, of the things I'm mentioning here now. So one of them is daylight right after waking up, or, as soon as the sun is up, getting in some daylight. Of course, you can just get that through the window, like sitting by the window, but obviously most powerful way is to really go outside. I have my balcony, so if I know I'm not doing anything like a run or a walk right after the sun is up in the morning, then I at least make sure I don't do it always, but pretty much I've set up a routine where I just take my super thick winter blanket and I just sit on the balcony for like 5 minutes and stare at the sky. And I feel like this has really helped me to fall asleep more quickly now in the winter, because I do feel like it's a lot easier to fall asleep in the summer. Like in the summer, literally 1 minute in bed and I'm switched out. Because of the sunlight and everything. But now in the winter it takes a little bit longer, but when I do that hack I can always feel a difference. And then also going out, especially in the first half of the day, getting in some daylight through the eyes, not wearing sunglasses. Like 2 days ago I saw someone running outside and he was wearing sunglasses. The sun wasn't even out and I was like, why are we doing that? Because if we put the sunglasses on, then our body is no longer, like the daylight is no longer helping our body to produce all these hormones that help with sleep and energy regulation in the body. So yeah, I don't even own sunglasses anymore, but that's a topic for a whole nother video. Anyways, next one is, of course, movement, staying active, helping our body to empty the glycogen stores so that we actually feel like fueling up on fruit. I feel like the only thing I want after having done some exercise, having gone for a run or a bike ride or being on my trampoline, is fruit, is carbohydrates, is sugar, natural sugar. And that's why I think it's so amazing to just move your body, even in the wintertime. Find ways that you enjoy, that you can incorporate into your daily life effortlessly. Hello again, I just came back from a run, and one last thing I wanted to mention about exercise is that when we move our bodies, it obviously increases circulation, not just right after the exercise, but for the rest of the day. So when we get a good sweaty workout in the morning or midday, then we're gonna stay pretty warm for the rest of the day, and our desire, our craving to go to something heavy and dense is gonna be much lower, because we no longer need the warmth and the comfort from the food, because we've already gotten that from the exercise, which is what the body actually wants. It wants the circulation and not the inflammation from ultra processed foods. So I just wanted to mention that to wrap up the point about exercise. And then also getting cozy and cuddled up in my blanket near the radiator, because sometimes when it's so cold you just want something warm and comforting, but when you have a very comforting environment in your home, you no longer need that comfort from the food. So I always have my rooms heated up pretty warmly, like not super hot, but just, to the point where I don't feel like stressed because it's cold. And then when I read a book or I watch a movie or do something like that, I cuddle up in my blanket near the radiator, just, to feel warm, feel cozy, feel comfortable. That's been a huge game changer for me as well. And then also the last one is being super, super gentle on the body. And this is the one that also goes out to myself, because I still need to learn that, because sometimes I have these high expectations to feel the exact same in the winter than I feel in the summer, which is just not possible. Personally, I have the theory, and I'm not sure if it's true, but it does resonate with me. I've heard it a couple of times, that we human beings, we're like tropical beings. We come from the tropics, and we are not really designed to survive in the cold. We're basically creating these tropical environments in our homes with radiators, and when we're outside with super thick jackets and stuff like that. So personally, I always remind myself of that, and also just the incredible need that I feel like my body has for sunlight. Like yesterday, the sun came out for like half an hour, and I sat on the balcony in that time, and I could just feel how my entire body was recalibrating just from that half an hour sunlight. And then imagining being depleted from that for like the rest of the day, because it's just literally not out and it's so gray and dark outside. And just taking all these things into account and knowing, okay, it is in a way a compromise. I still choose to live, here in cold Germany right now, even though my body would probably prefer living somewhere where it's warm, where there's more sunshine. It's still where I feel at home right now. It's still where I feel like I'm supposed to be. So it is a compromise. But yeah, always keeping in mind that we can be gentle on ourselves. It is okay to feel less energized, wanting to sleep. Oh yeah, that's one I haven't mentioned yet, is to sleep more as well. So if I need 12 hours of sleep in the wintertime, I allow myself to have 12 hours sleep in the wintertime. There is no need to limit your sleep unless it's obviously not possible differently with work. But yeah, like yesterday, I was so tired at like 9 or something, so I already went to bed. And I think it's just so helpful to allow our bodies to have more rest. That way they can recover more and do all these processes that usually the sun and the super high quality fruit would be responsible for. Alright, we're here at Aldi, and I thought what better way to show you how to eat healthy and incorporate more fruit than actually bring you along on my supermarket trip, because healthy eating does not start in the kitchen, it starts at your shopping trips. So let's get into it. Alright, I just got back from shopping. I got this huge bag of fruits. Lots of oranges, bananas, melons, and also some unripe bananas. And of course, I also got a bunch of veggies, and vegetables are a great thing to fall back on always. I think vegetables are a very important part of the diet. It's important to not just focus on the fruit and the carbs, but also eat your veggies. But especially in the winter where there isn't as much nutrient dense and as much high water content fruit like melons, which I'm very fortunate to still be able to find. And I also have some coconuts at the moment, you know, some drinking Thai coconuts in the fridge. But still, when there isn't that much available of that kind of stuff, it's still important to not just be nourished by calories, but also be nourished by nutrients, especially going for the things that are in season right now, you know, even though zucchini isn't in season, but things like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, sweet potatoes, all these kinds of things are in season, so we can take advantage of that, especially when we live in colder climates where there isn't as much of the other fruits growing. But I'm very grateful for my oranges, which I'm eating a lot at the moment, and also, yeah, for all the other stuff. So yeah, I think the key takeaway from this video is really to focus on what we can do, focus on the abundance. There is always fruit. There is always things we can eat that are nourishing for us, even in the winter time, and focusing on the things that we do have and that we can have instead of on the lack and oh my god, I don't have that right now. Because when we focus on the abundance, more abundance comes into our lives, and that also applies for fruit. So yeah, just wanted to share that before and after.